Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in to episode 7 of the Now We Know podcast. And it is late June, so we are very much in the thick of the pre-San Diego Comic-Con season. And towards that end, I am very fortunate to be able to welcome back friend to the show, product director at NECA, and all around turtle guy there, Trevor Zammit. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it.
Hi, Nick. How's it going?
It's going well. How is it going with you as we're
Uh,
leading into the show?
yeah, it's like Comic-Con time now, so things are busy. Things are a little crazy, but it's fun. So always looking forward. This is like the big show of the year, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're always like looking forward to this and like showing off a lot of new product, and so
So
it's a fun
so
time of
by
year.
so by late June, are you guys pretty much set, or is it like down to the wire for you guys?
It's been down to the wire before, like maybe a little more extreme than this year. I think right now we're pretty good. We have most of our deco samples and test shots, everything we want from the factory. I have it all kind of laid out where how we're going to display it. I just started like building some dioramas for the booth. So we're in like pretty good shape right now, which is good because certainly past years it's been a little more stressful. I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to get all this done? And yeah, this year it's like not quite like that yet, but maybe
Yeah.
in a couple weeks it'll hit me.
Well, you guys have a good sized booth. It's not huge, but I have to tell you that especially that one side of it every year, like pound for pound, I think you have more new stuff and crazy shit just like jam packed into that glass wall of
Yeah.
display space. So it takes for me it takes several walkthroughs to absorb it all.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to look at. So yeah, I for sure you got to come back and just like check it out a couple times. So yeah, we put a it's we want to I don't know. There's a lot in there. So,
Well, yes, lots of stuff to see, but we're going to be focused on turtles today because you guys have been announcing over the past few weeks your exclusives that are going to be set for San Diego, but will also be up for sale, and we'll talk about some of those details in a little bit. There will be an online sale for those not attending the show, and it covers kind of the a wide range of the properties that you guys have. But obviously, we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this is, I think, this year's kind of a special one because not only is it the 40th anniversary of TMNT, um, you guys are kind of pulling it back to not only TMNT roots, but NECA's roots with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And the very first offering that you guys had were some Mirage-based Ninja Turtles figures at San Diego Comic-Con. And this year you are bringing out a very special two-pack
yeah.
of the Mirage Turtles based on the original artwork by both Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. How was this, what was the thought process going into making this the piece for the show this year?
Um, well, yeah, there's a couple things that went into it. Last year, we had two Ninja Turtle exclusives. We had like Kino on the scooter, and we had the TMNT 3 box set.
You guys have been focused on cartoon and movies quite a bit at the show the last
Yeah.
few years.
And last year we had two movie exclusives. And after the show was done, I had texted Randy and I was just like, we got to like do something just kind of simple next year.
Yeah.
But it's got to be good because it's the 40th. So we got to do something good. But like over the last couple of years, the Mirage line has grown,
Yeah.
and it kind of seemed like a natural fit. Like we had done, like you said, like cartoon and movie. We've done video game stuff.
Hmm.
So it was obvious we were going to do like a Mirage thing, and then just kicking around ideas with like Randy and Kevin Eastman, Kevin had suggested doing these sketch turtles. He's like, Mondo, like I have that big vinyl turtle. He's like, no one had ever done Peter's
Yeah.
drawing before. And he was like, that'd be cool to do them. And Randy and me, both of us were just like, that's okay if that's what Kevin wants, and that's what we'll do. So that's kind of how it came together. And then yeah, it was just like working with Kevin to like develop some new artwork, and Paul Harding was sculpting them, and because it's just a front view. It was like the first sketches, we had to kind of fill in some blanks and like figure out the back of like the Peter's sketch, like what that might have looked like. And so we were looking at a lot of the original artwork and sketches, and just going back and forth with Kevin, kind of developing this thing. So
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because obviously Kevin has been the stalwart of providing the art for the Mirage line really since, I don't want to say it came back, but since you guys really started moving with it. I guess it's been almost a couple years ago.
it's a couple years, yeah, when we kicked it off with like the Fugitoid and that claw shredder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's been doing the box art for everything since we brought it back.
Well, this obviously features some really cool Kevin Eastman art, and the back has a really cool lenticular piece that kind of celebrates the sketches, both in their black and white form, and you can bring them forward to the color. But I have to tell you, it's almost like mind-bending to me to see not only Kevin's turtle on here, but also his drawing of Peter's original turtle, that's really cool. And I think it's a nice celebration of the duo for him to do that for this set.
Yeah, they turn out cool. The cool thing with the lenticular was like, that's like the process of Kevin's artwork. Like when he's doing the box art, it's like the lenticular starts with like kind of a blue line sketch, and then like, he does the cleaned up like inks, and then there's like a duotone shade, and then the last step is like we drop the color on it. So it has all four stages of like Kevin's drawing process, which we see for every single box he does. But it was like a really cool special thing for this, like to put this lenticular like slip cover on the box. And then we kind of blanked out the front. So like, Kevin is going to be at the booth, and if you want Kevin to like sign it or draw something, kind of like a sketch cover on on a comic book,
Yeah.
So we kept the front very simple, for autographs and
some nice space in between the two of them. Yeah,
all that stuff. So
yeah. Well, it is really cool, and you talking about his process going from the line art to when you put color on there, because I think when you guys debuted this, I was like, oh, cool, it's in color. And a lot of people were not surprised, but I think a lot of people thought, well, this could have just as easily been in black and white style that you guys have done as it could have been in color. But hearing you talk about, Kevin's process with that and having the color being like the last step put in on this, I think it's kind of cool that these are in color, because it takes you through that whole process then, right?
It does, yeah. And I think most people, we have done some black and white like variants, here and there, but like I think most people are collecting, the main line is in full color. So this set fits in with like the rest of your collection. They'll fit right in.
And to that point, they've got kind of their number on there, and it's really it's something to me just to see these two portraits next to each other, because it's like that's Kevin's turtle and that's Peter's turtle. It's like that's kind of the two of them featured on the box like that. So that's really cool with the portrait shots of a lot of the characters that from the artwork that Kevin's done that have already been released, and maybe a couple that I see
maybe
maybe
one or
down
two.
here that haven't come out yet. But I like that this is special in that it celebrates, Eastman and Laird together in their original, but it is very much a part of the Mirage line with how it's presented. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, I typically don't unbox stuff during podcasts simply because it's a loud and kind of, strange and fumbly process. But I wanted to save this so that I could open it while we talk about it. But I would like if you wouldn't mind maybe speaking about, you talked about seeing, some of the original drawings and whatnot, and maybe some of the unique challenges or things that you wanted to make sure that you got right with each one of these figures as they were going through the development.
Yeah, there's a few things. We wanted to pay tribute to those original sketches and make them faithful to that, but then we also wanted them to be like just fun, like action figures and playable toys. So we want to make sure we load them up with, there's like extra portraits. They've got all the extra hands, just like a normal turtle, like a NECA turtle would come with. We gave them all the signature weapons. They've got nunchucks, swords, bow staff. There's even twirling nunchuck, and there's a tonfa in there, 2 size.
And you needed the back tray as well
Yeah.
to help with that.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. We need a second tray to keep it all in there. Trying to get the nunchucks on the wrists to be removable was like kind of a challenge. There's a couple different ways we were going to do that. They clip onto the wristband, so you can keep them on there if you want to remove them. So he's like there's like a separate set of nunchucks that they can hold. So like, so they've got removable nunchucks. There's oh boy, what else? We made the 2 bandana knots on the back of the head. Those are interchangeable. So there's the Eastman one is a little longer and kind of blowing in the wind. You can like swap that one out switch it with the Laird one. And so there's a lot of like mixing and matching and customizing, and they're still like fun, playable toys.
Yeah, and with that, it's funny because I've always kind of thought about, the original, their original sketch turtles as kind of like these standalone things. And it's like, okay, well, that's Kevin's and that's Peter's, but to your point, with all the different accessories, the, required accessories and the different expressions and whatnot that come with both of these, you can build out really 4 different looking turtles, and more so. But one of the things that I love that I could see in the package, having not opened it until just now, is these are 2 very different sized figures, and they're, I don't know, you can probably tell me, you'd be able to tell me for sure, but they look like they're all unique to themselves as well, right?
Oh yeah, they're completely, there's no reuse parts on either of them. They're Paul sculpted them from the ground up, and then with the scale, I just looking at the drawings side by side, I kind of scaled them to where I thought they looked kind of in proportion with each other. And then that too, like I sent this to Kevin and I was like, how do these heights, like how did these 2, do these look right to you? Like, should we resize them? Are they the same height? Like, are they equal heights or whatever? And Kevin was like, no, that looks good. He's like, exactly how you sized it. He's like, that's perfect. He's like, that looks cool. Just keep it like that. And so the Laird one, which also I think speaks a little bit to their personalities.
I was just going to say that Kevin's got
Kevin is like larger than life, and his turtle is like this big hulking, like, kind of personality. And it's just, like they kind of embody like their their real life kind of personas or whatever. So
I think that works with the mask too, because the Laird one it covers his face a little bit more, so it's like got exactly that more reserved. part of it. But to your point that you were speaking about with, the different portraits and whatnot, they're dynamic, but to your point, they also fit the need of an action figure, right? It's like you have it's kind of traditional, I guess, in a lot of adult collector action figure series that there's kind of the stoic or more plain face, and then kind of that battle ready one,
Yeah.
which you have included for both turtles as well. And to your point, if I was only to have one set, because I'll probably have more than one set, I would probably have the reserved face on the Laird turtle and kind of the more, gritted teeth, ready to go one on the Eastman one. But yeah,
You can, you can do what you pose them however you like. You can. That's the
yeah.
cool thing. When you get tired of one pose, you swap out the parts and change it up, and there's lots of options for displaying.
Yeah, and you were speaking about the
Yeah,
nunchucks
so they've
that
just got a little clip that like plugs into their wrist, into their little wristbands.
yeah, it goes right above like where it places really easily like right where the joint on the hand is
Yeah,
on the figure. So and of course they have, the hands that are displayed with them in the package, but also the requisite grip hands so that they can hold all the different accessories. And I don't know, for me again, if I was just going to have one set, to me the Laird turtle's coming with the bow staff, whereas maybe the Eastman one has got the spinning nunchucks. But
yeah.
to your point, it can be however you like it. So
I
that's
think
really
that's
cool.
when we got the test shots from the factory, like we first had the samples. I think that's how I posed them was like Laird with the bow staff, like he's kind of standing there, like all, like pondering and
Uh-huh.
all book looking and stuff. Yeah, I think that's how I set them up first too.
Yeah, so it's funny how, to your point, with that is that I think these turtles take on that personality that we know of their original creators. Even out of the box, I think for everybody it'll be a different experience for that. But it's kind of cool to hear you mention that, because we were maybe thinking along the same lines as far as that goes. But yeah, all the articulation is there. It's like, these are fully functioning turtle action figures, and it's I think as their drawings went on, and of course the the turtles kind of held their weapons and whatnot like more appropriately
Mhm.
as the drawings went on. But like kind of at the beginning, I just kind of picture them. Okay, well I'm just kind of holding the bow staff here, or the
Yeah, we're
nunchucks.
figuring it out.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
um, and I like how the nunchucks on the wrists, actually, just so people can see the difference. On the Laird turtle, it's just it kind of reminds me of like the batons from Daredevil. Imagine that. But then the Eastman one has the little chains, even though the nunchucks are affixed to each other, they have the chains on
Yeah, they
there.
still have the
So
real chain. I think that's how the drawings were. It was like it
mhm.
were like two sticks on Peter's um and the chains, the nunchucks on Kevin's drawing.
Yeah.
At one point, the factory had them both. I think there was nunchucks on both hands, and I was like, no, we have to cut those off and just make them sticks or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I well, and I'm and again, those are little details that it's it feels good to have them handled correctly in a set like this, because I was too young when the original comics debuted, so I came into knowing this part of the Ninja Turtles when I was a little bit older. But I mean, there are people who have been poring over these drawings and these comic books for 40 years now. So knowing all of the different details that come with that, I know are definitely appreciated by people.
Yeah, hopefully it's like, you know, 40 years of Ninja Turtles it's a pretty cool thing. So we want to, do these sets, we want to do them right. So
So you mentioned, and I just did a little head swap there to get that. You mentioned obviously Kevin did the artwork piece of it, but then you also were going back and forth with him on the figures themselves. Was he involved differently or more so, or like was it kind of a different dynamic working on these turtles with him as opposed to maybe some other ones that you've done where you've been working with him directly?
It's probably he was a little more involved with this just because there's so little kind of reference to go off of. Like a lot of the other characters we're doing, it's like there's an entire episode or there's multiple episodes. There's a movie and a making of and a there's all this extra stuff. These were like the first two sketches.
Yeah.
Even like the Mirage stuff, there's like comics, like an entire book that you can kind of work from. So yeah, these were different because I was just constantly like bugging them with questions and hey, what about this? What about that? Most of the figures I'll send them pictures of the sculpt or of the the paint masters when those are finished, just to make sure he likes them and doesn't have any notes or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one he was a little more involved, like kind of all the way through it.
Well, and that's cool because with like the cartoon line, you have to keep the turtles involved with the other characters that come out. So doing different versions of them, like the punk disguise and the turtles in disguise and things like that. That's what keeps them, kind of the main characters fresh in the line. But I think, my thought and probably many others with the Mirage was it's like, oh, well, with a Mirage line, the turtles can keep seeing kind of a refresh in celebration or tribute to a lot of the different artists that worked on them. So it couldn't be more appropriate to have the original artists here and represented early on. I don't want to say early on, but we've had a couple of versions of the turtles that obviously have their roots and influence there, but I mean these are direct from the source, right?
Yeah, in the back of my head, I kept thinking like, that there's some sort of either a portal or like some Donnie's got some invention where these turtles sort of like step through like, almost like a
Multiverse, yeah.
It's like these two just showed up like they're like the proto turtles or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And in that, because of all the different, weapons and accessories that come with them, I mean, these are set as so iconic as those first initial drawings, but that's like 40 years of history that hasn't moved from an affixed drawing. But now with the introduction of these guys, and their different expressions and weapons, I mean, for the first time, people can kind of build out the whole team in this style, how they see fit too. So it's like as old as you can get, but as new as you can get at the same time, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I know most of us display our figures facing out front, on the shelves, but these shelves are something to see as well, just because of their size and shape, and especially on the Eastman one, it's so massive. But it really highlights, to me, the lines on his, but the circles on the Peter one. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was looking at a lot of the sketches and a lot of the early comics to see how Peter was like drawing the shells and the different patterns and stuff. So it was looking at all the early work to try and like kind of get into Peter's drawing style or whatever and try to match it up. So
Yeah. So with that though, I know I will, and I'm sure a lot of other people will probably want multiples of these guys to be able to celebrate, right?
Some people might. Some people might. People should be happy to know that when they go on sale, on Wednesday, it's limit 4 per customer. So if people wanted to buy a full, get a full team of Eastman turtles, Laird turtles, you can buy 4 sets of those. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so that'll be on as you said, Wednesday, that is June 26th at the NECA store, along with I think all the rest of the exclusives that you
Yeah,
guys will have. But it will be cool. You mentioned for fans who will actually be getting their sets at the show that Kevin will actually be at the NECA booth for part of the show this
yeah,
year, right? Yeah.
yeah. Kevin, he was there last year. He's
Hmm.
gonna come back this year, do a signing. Still kind of finalizing all the dates and stuff, so I don't want to
Yeah.
give out anything too soon. But Kevin will definitely like. We're planning on having him at the booth, for about an hour or something to do a little meet and greet, sign some figures or, um, you know,
So
something.
that will definitely be the time to I would probably say, get your turtles as quickly as is convenient for you, but then definitely make it back for the signing because this is it's a 40th anniversary celebration, but I mean it's something that you said at least as a pair. This hasn't ever been done before like this, and it it seems like there's more turtle stuff and they're just as prevalent now really as they always have been, but it's cool to think that this is really how it all started, right?
It is pretty crazy that, yeah, it's it's I don't know, Ninja Turtles are so weird and different and cool, and like it is crazy. They built this like empire just off of these like sketches.
Well, and for people like us who have been, into Ninja Turtles for some up to 40 years, some of us almost that long.
Yeah.
Over our time spent with them, we know about this and we discover it, but I'm going to kind of be looking forward to maybe being around the booth a little bit and seeing, maybe some people who are Ninja Turtles fans who are maybe seeing something like this for the first time,
Mhm.
and not really, knowing that this is how they originally looked and kind of see how it's cool that you guys are probably going to be an introduction for a lot of people into, the original looks of the Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah, Kevin did a little video for us, like uh,
Hmm.
to a little promo for this set, and he called it "History in a Box." He was like,
Yeah,
"Come check it out, NECA booth. Like it's history in a box."
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I was like, "That's just it's like the perfect little tagline for this set." So
Well, and even for someone like him, who has seen, his co-creation go through countless iterations and looks and media and this and that, and it's all coming back around 40 years later to celebrate how it originally started. So
yeah,
it's a great exclusive for San Diego. It's a great exclusive for the 40th anniversary. I'm very glad to hear that people will be able to buy four of them, and people will be able to get them online if they're not attending the show. I think that's a big thing, because I know a lot of people are going to want this set. So
yeah,
just
it's a really cool set. So yeah, we try to make it available to everybody. Not everyone can make it to San Diego, so yeah, they'll be on the website, the necastore.com, I think is the website.
yeah, and the box as is often tradition for San Diego exclusive. This is the packaging is definitely something that even if you take them out of the packaging, it's something worth holding on to. Because it's cool. And if you're at the show, maybe even Kevin will sign it and do a little sketch on top of his sketch
Yeah,
on there, right? So,
maybe that's
yeah.
that's the hope.
All right. Well, awesome. Just looking towards the show, I'm sure that we are going to be getting a chance to talk and walk through some cool stuff that you'll be showing off there. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's going to be revealed, or maybe some further down the road pieces that. And one that comes or further down the road in development on some pieces that we've seen before, because I'm one of the things that we got to help kind of reveal last year were those stump wrestling turtles, which is, related to the
Oh
comic
yeah,
stuff that we've been talking about. But I keep feeling like those have got to be getting pretty close, man.
right around the corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have some final samples. Should be in packaging to show. So yeah, there's gonna be some cool like stump wrestling turtles and some other like Archie turtle stuff. Uh, yeah, it should be a good display. So
That's that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to when those get closer or after they're released or something, we'll need to see if we can get Ken Matroni away from his baseball team for a while and see if we can have another pizza party with him talking about those,
oh
because
yeah.
that's always entertaining. But
Ken's he's raring to go. So yeah, I'm sure we can probably make that happen.
yeah. Well, awesome. Well, again, man, I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us about these, and just great work overall. I love the colors. I love that, these were given a true action figure due, in that they get all the accessories and the articulation, but they're a celebration of not only 40th anniversary, but a couple of guys that we owe a lot to, for these creations, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like it's a cool set. It seems to be pretty well received so far. When we announced it the other day, people are excited, and they've been a lot of fun to work on. And just throughout this whole process, like working with Kevin Eastman for like the last couple of years has been incredible. So um, yeah, it's a really fun set. It's a special set, and yeah, it's kind of history in the box, like Kevin said. So.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, if I can indulge just a bit, because we are celebrating the turtles as they were drawn on the page, but it kind of makes me think about a drawing that exists out there that that
Oh
has
yeah.
the creators themselves, and when I first saw these, I was like, oh man, this is incredible. And we've gotten Kirby in the line, and I understand that Kirby is a character, in the comics as well, but there's just something kind of special to me about this drawing. And man, I gotta tell you, I was looking at it and it's like, huh, I'm seeing some pants and some shoes and things on these specific drawings, and it feels like between Baxter and Kirby, man, there might be a little potential here. So just
There's
putting that out
there's yeah, there's definitely some reuse possibilities, potential on those. Yeah, that's that could be a fun set. I mean, just look, I mean, this would just be a fun diorama to build,
there.
like, or the whole thing, like
Yeah.
with the shelves and the easel, the drawing desk, like
The NECA alien
we've
figure
got
that,
xenomorphs, we've got those, we've
yeah.
made those, like Fugitoids, and yeah, I mean it's cool. It's we just for that head right there where they're like blowing in the airbrush.
I was gonna say the turtle assisted airbrush going on right here. Yeah.
Yeah, just for that alone, that would be like a fun accessory like to make. So
Well, yeah,
who can say?
yeah, I was gonna say, who can say, but why stop the celebration of TMNT and their creators with just with one awesome set? We'll be just waiting to see how you plan on outdoing yourself, next year as the line moves along. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to all that we are going to see. I did want to mention really quick before we go that you guys obviously do have other exclusives that
There's
are
some really
going to
good ones.
be at the show that are really cool. Captain Impressive from the Dinosaurs line, and I've also got Alf as the superhero ultimate action figure. I'm going to be sharing some pictures of these online this coming week, but these should also be noted as well, just because for all of the cool details and accuracy that comes with the 40th anniversary turtles. Same can be said about these two figures as well. So I think they're having two more superhero figures as exclusives at San Diego for those properties is pretty fun as well.
Yeah, they're awesome. And there's a Prey figure that's super cool,
Yeah.
and a glow in the dark Orlock to go with like uh that like retro monster line or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's and then I think there's a Flash Gordon too.
Yep. There is with a
Yeah.
that big cool base piece and whatnot too. So
Yeah, there's lots
that's
of good stuff. So
yeah, lots of cool stuff to buy, lots of cool stuff to see. So looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in just over a month. You know, it's like with Toy Fair being weird the past couple of years, it's like it's kind of been once a year. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to chatting and hanging out about
yeah,
all of this stuff. So but in the meantime, again, thanks so much for joining us to talk about these exclusives, and we'll hopefully be back again soon. At maybe at Comic Con, we'll put something together. But to
okay.
everybody else as well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and don't forget if you're not going to be attending the show to get online on June 26th at the NECA store because these will be up for sale with a limit of 4 on the Ninja Turtles one. So you can have the first turtles, but you can have the whole first turtle teams. So that'll be
Yeah,
cool. All right, Trevor, thanks so much. And everybody, we appreciate you joining us, and we will catch you next time.
cool. Thanks, Nick.
Bye.
Whoa.